A long time ago, in the island of Java, there lived a kingdom named Jonggala Kingdom. The kingdom is protected by a mystical eagle, who is as strong as it is intelligent. The eagle's vast wisdom helps the kingdom designate their true king, a king that will lead their kingdom to peace and prosperity. The kingdom was led by King Raden Putra, whom all the citizens loved. His queen was kind and caring, always helping the king whenever he needs it. Contrary to the queen, however, the royal concubine was greedy, boastful, and careless. She cared to be the one sitting on the throne, so she devised an evil plan. One day, she came to visit a local shaman and told him the plan, to which he agreed. With the shaman's help, the concubine faked an illness that worried the king. Summoned to the castle himself is none other than the local shaman, the same shaman who was plotting together with the concubine. The king sought help from the shaman, to which he responded by saying the concubine was actually poisoned by the queen. Using his black magic and trickery, the shaman was able to cure the concubine out of her fake illness while sparking accusations to the queen.
Without thinking too deeply on the matter, the king ordered a soldier to escort her out of the kingdom and execute her in the jungle. Soon the soldier took to the jungle, but took pity on the queen when he learned that she was pregnant with the king's child. The soldier then helped the queen build a house in the jungle to live in for her and her baby. The soldier returned back to the king with news that the task was done and the queen has been killed. Meanwhile, in the kingdom, the king passes away due to his old age. And with his passing, the eagle leaves his side and flies away, never to be seen again by the people of the kingdom. The power is then given to the concubine to lead the kingdom however she wants. After a few months in the jungle, the queen had given birth to a boy. He was named Cinderalas. Cinderalas grew up not knowing from where he came from, as his mother was very secretive of his father. However, his mother did show him love and taught him many life lessons that will help his journey to adulthood.
One day, while Cinderella was gathering his crops for breakfast, he was stunned to find that a majestic eagle had been watching him from the trees. Noticing this, the eagle flutters closer and closer to Cinderalas, coming close enough to him so he could admire it. He had never seen it before in his life, but it seems to take a liking to him. Cinderalas was amazed to find this eagle and ran back home, immediately showing it to his mother, who is aghast at this revelation. The mother reluctantly tells Cinderalas why they lived in the jungle as well as why an eagle had befriended him. With this in mind, the mother felt as though something was wrong and that she needs to bring Cinderalas back to the palace in order to be crowned king. After preparing the necessary supplies, the mother, Cinderalas, and his eagle then started to make their way towards the palace.
On the way to the palace, they stopped by a village. What once was a village that had a thriving community turned out to be left barren and in ruin. A local had exclaimed that due to the current queen's reign, she hoarded all of the food and the money to herself, leaving the common folk without anything left. It was said that the current queen was greedy and selfish. Knowing this, the mother is now determined to get her son to the palace, whatever it takes. Cinderalas was raised to be a compassionate person, and therefore he temporarily halted his journey to help this village in need. Him and his mother proceeded to share their knowledge on farming to help the community rebuild and rid them of their month-long famine. The villagers were confused as to why an eagle was following Cinderalas around, until they had realized what it truly meant. They were in the presence of the true king. With this newfound knowledge, they offered their help by guiding Cinderalas and his mother safely to the palace as a sign of their gratitude.
At the arrival at the gate of the palace, the guards did not even hesitate to open the gate. It seems as though the news of Cinderalas' kindness and royal blood had reached the ears of even the most disciplined and loyal soldiers of the royal concubine. They don't hesitate to pave the way for him, for they, the people, and the soldiers of the kingdom already acknowledge Cinderalas as royalty. In the royal hall of the palace, the true heir and the false ruler stand face to face. The concubine wasted no time and ordered her royal guards to dispatch of this false king. Ironically, she would soon eat her words, as the guard stated that she is the false one, and proceeded to exile her from the kingdom. Not long after the event, Cinderalas rose to the throne along with his eagle, and ruled his kingdom with true benevolence and compassion until the end of his days. But before the end comes, he would taught his children the way of a true king or queen, assuring for the days to come after he left this world to the next that the kingdom will be held in the hands of a benevolent leader. No one knows what happened to the concubine that plagued the kingdom with tyranny, but one thing the people know for sure, that they are glad she was banished from the realm. The reason as to why we choose this folktale to reconstruct is because we felt as though the meaning behind the previous one was too shallow and didn't have an engaging story that people could follow. In the first story, the plot is resolved because of something out of the character's control, that being an invincible rooster that solves all of Cinderalas' problem. Because of that, we wanted Cinderalas as the protagonist to take the essential steps to be a true king, learning valuable morals that the reader could easily apply in their own lives. Another change that we made was to the rising action portion of the plot. In the initial plot, Cinderalas gets the attention of the king by participating in cockfights against villagers to gain reputation and recognition. We decided to remove this portion because it does not show what a true king would have done and did not teach anything of value to the readers. We instead changed it to an act of benevolence, such as helping the poor and teaching them how to grow their own livestock. This would lead to the people believing that Cinderalas is a good leader and role model for the kingdom. We wanted to bring a sense of struggle in the odds that Cinderalas have been put through in the story, because without any apparent struggle, there won't be any character development or growth, therefore turning the meaning in the story moot. With this version of the reconstruction of the story, the reader is able to learn morals, such as the first one, never to give up. There is a risk in every effort in your life, but when you already started something, especially something important that would lead to a greater good to yourself or unto others, the risk will only come if you stop. Therefore, you have to keep moving forward in order to reap the rewards in what you sow for you and others around you. To stand with those who need your help, which is the second point. You don't live alone in this world. You share it with others. But not only it is good to establish a relationship, it's also good for the soul. When you help people, you're not only helping others, but also yourself, as it gives fulfillment knowing you contribute something in your life. To ask questions before acting. All this conflict in the story could have been avoided if only the king could assess the situation better rather than acting without any further knowledge of the situation, which resulted in his unbeknownst heir and his wife exile, but also his kingdom's downfall by the hands of the concubine. This shows that things aren't always as it seems, and we should think things through to get the best result as possible.
Long time ago, in the island of